The diner's neon sign flickered against the darkening sky, a beacon of warmth and comfort in the bustling heart of the city. Inside, the clatter of dishes and the murmur of conversation created a familiar symphony, one that had become a part of Alex's life. As a waiter at Mina's diner, he thrived in the fast-paced environment, drawing energy from the diverse crowd that filled the tables each night. On this particular Saturday, the diner was alive with laughter, clinking glasses, and the aroma of sizzling burgers wafting through the air. It was the kind of night where everyone seemed to be in high spirits, except for one man seated at a corner booth, Mr. Thompson. A regular customer with a reputation for his harsh opinions, he was known for his brash demeanor and biting comments. Alex approached Mr. Thompson's table, balancing a tray laden with a steaming burger, fries, and a frosty mug of root beer. "Here you go, Mr. Thompson," he said with a smile, trying to mask the unease that churned in his stomach. "Is there anything else I can get for you?" "Yeah, just make sure to keep an eye on those people over there," Mr. Thompson replied, jerking his thumb towards a table where a group of friends, a mix of different ethnicities, were sharing stories and laughter. "You know how they are always causing trouble." Alex's heart sank at the comment. He had overheard Mr. Thompson's racist remarks before, but had always brushed them off, focusing instead on his job. Tonight, however, something felt different. The weight of the words hung heavily in the air, and Alex could feel a rush of anger bubbling beneath the surface. "Sir, they're just enjoying their meal like everyone else," Alex replied, his voice steady despite the tension in his chest. "We should treat all our customers with respect." Mr. Thompson's eyes narrowed, his expression shifting from surprise to irritation. "Respect? I'll respect them when they start acting like decent people," he snapped, his tone dripping with disdain. "You wait and see. Trouble follows them everywhere they go." Alex took a deep breath, feeling the heat of frustration rising in his cheeks. He had seen the joy on the faces of those customers, their laughter infectious and genuine. They didn't deserve to be judged based on their appearance or background. "That's not fair, Mr. Thompson. Everyone deserves to be treated with kindness, regardless of who they are." The diner quieted for a moment, the laughter from the other tables fading as patrons turned to witness the confrontation. Alex felt a wave of embarrassment wash over him, but he stood firm, determined to call out the injustice. Mr. Thompson leaned forward, his voice low and threatening. "You better watch yourself, kid. You're just a waiter. You don't get to decide who deserves respect. I've been coming here for years. You don't want to lose your job over some misguided sense of morality." Alex's heart raced, a mix of fear and anger coursing through him. He glanced around the diner, meeting the eyes of a few customers who seemed to share his discomfort. "I'm just doing my job, and I won't stand by while you disrespect others. If you can't treat everyone with dignity, then maybe you shouldn't be here." The tension in the air was palpable, and Alex could feel his pulse quickening. He turned to walk away, wanting to escape the suffocating atmosphere, but Mr. Thompson called out after him. "You think you're so brave? I'll make sure Mia knows about this. You'll be out on the street before you know it." Ignoring the threat, Alex returned to the kitchen, his heart still racing. He placed the tray on the counter and leaned against it, taking deep breaths to steady himself. He felt shaken, but also empowered by his words. "Hey, Alex, you good?" his coworker Jamie asked, noticing his pale face. "Yeah, just had a little confrontation with Mr. Thompson," Alex replied, forcing a chuckle. "You know how he is." Jamie frowned, crossing her arms. "You shouldn't have to put up with that. It's not right." "I know, but it's just." Alex paused, running a hand through his hair. "It's hard to stand up to someone like that, especially when he's a regular." "Still, don't let him intimidate you," Jamie said, her voice firm. "You did the right thing. We can't let that kind of attitude slide." As the night wore on, Alex found it increasingly difficult to shake off the encounter. Each time he passed Mr. Thompson's booth, he felt a knot in his stomach, a reminder of the confrontation and the potential consequences. He wondered what Mia, the diner's owner, would say if she found out. After closing time, Alex gathered with his fellow staff to clean up. The laughter had faded, replaced by a somber mood. He decided it was time to speak up, to share what had happened with Mia. Guys, can we talk to Mia about something? He said, looking around the room. I think we need to address what happened with Mr. Thompson. The others nodded, and together they approached Mia's office. Alex knocked softly on the door, and Mia's warm voice beckoned them in. Mia was a strong presence, compassionate and fair-minded. She listened intently as Alex recounted the evening's events, his voice steady despite the lingering anxiety. When he finished, Mia leaned back in her chair, her expression thoughtful. I appreciate you bringing this to my attention, Alex. It's important we create a welcoming environment for everyone. I'll talk to Mr. Thompson and see where this goes. Relief washed over Alex, but it was mixed with apprehension. He knew this was only the beginning. The real challenge lay ahead, confronting the racism that lingered like a shadow in their diner. As he left her office, he felt a flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, things could change. The diner was more than just a job. It was a community, and he was determined to fight for it. Little did he know, the confrontation with Mr. Thompson was just the start of a much bigger battle, one that would challenge not only his courage, but the very values the diner stood for. The next day, the diner opened its doors to a fresh wave of patrons, but the atmosphere felt different. An undercurrent of tension ran through the air, as if the events of the previous night had cast a shadow over the bright decor and clattering plates. Alex arrived for his shift with a knot in his stomach, his thoughts still tangled in the confrontation with Mr. Thompson. As he donned his apron, he caught glimpses of his fellow staff members exchanging wary looks. Jamie was at the counter, wiping down the surface with an intensity that suggested more than just a need for cleanliness. When she noticed Alex, she offered a tight smile, one that didn't quite reach her eyes. Hey, she said, her voice low. You ready for today? As ready as I can be, Alex replied, trying to sound casual. I just hope Mr. Thompson doesn't come in. I heard he was already talking about you at the bar last night, Jamie said, lowering her voice further. He's not happy. Great, Alex muttered, feeling a wave of frustration wash over him. What a way to start my day. Just then, Mia stepped into the diner, her presence immediately commanding attention. She greeted the staff with her usual warmth, but Alex could see the seriousness in her eyes. I want to talk to everyone for a moment before we open, she announced, ushering them to gather around the counter. The staff assembled, some exchanging nervous glances, while others looked anxious. Alex could feel the weight of their collective tension. He stood near Jamie, his heart racing as he awaited Mia's words. First, I want to thank you all for your hard work and dedication, Mia began, her voice steady. However, I need to address something that happened last night. I heard about the incident with Mr. Thompson. A murmur rippled through the group. Alex's heart sank as he braced himself for the inevitable fallout. While we strive to provide a welcoming environment for all our customers, it's crucial that we also support one another, Mia continued. I want you to know that you have my full backing if you ever feel uncomfortable or witness unacceptable behavior. We will not tolerate discrimination or harassment in this diner. Alex felt a surge of gratitude towards Mia. Her words resonated with him, reinforcing his belief that standing up against racism was vital. He exchanged a glance with Jamie, who seemed relieved too. Does anyone want to share their thoughts or experiences? Mia asked, looking around the room. A few hands hesitated before rising, but it was enough to spark a conversation. One of the cooks, Marco, spoke up. I've seen Mr. Thompson act like this before. He always makes comments about customers based on their race. It's uncomfortable. Another waitress, Sarah, chimed in. I was here once when he went off about a family with Hispanic backgrounds. It was awful, but I didn't know how to respond. I've felt the same way, Alex admitted, finding his voice. I know it's hard to confront these issues, especially when it involves a regular, but we can't ignore it anymore. Mia nodded, encouraging the discussion. Exactly. We need to support each other and foster an environment where everyone feels safe and respected. If anyone encounters issues with customers, please bring it to my attention immediately. You're not alone in this. As the meeting concluded, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. They were in this together, and he was determined to stand firm alongside his coworkers. The diner opened its doors, and the familiar sounds of sizzling bacon and clattering dishes filled the air. As customers poured in, Alex took to his tables, doing his best to keep his head high. However, the reality of the previous night lingered like a cloud, especially when he spotted Mr. Thompson entering the diner. The moment the door swung open, the atmosphere shifted. Mr. Thompson sauntered in, exuding an air of arrogance, as if he owned the place. He paused, scanning the room before locking eyes with Alex. A smirk spread across his face, and Alex felt his stomach twist. "Ah, if it isn't the brave waiter," Mr. Thompson called out, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "How's it feel to be on the wrong side of the customer?" Alex clenched his jaw but maintained his composure. "Just doing my job, Mr. Thompson. What can I get you today?" "I'll take the usual," he replied, still grinning. "And make sure you don't mess it up. I wouldn't want to have to complain to Mia about your performance again." Alex fought the urge to roll his eyes, forcing a smile instead. "Of course, I'll make sure it's perfect." As he turned to walk away, he overheard Mr. Thompson muttering to the table next to him. "These people today think they can just speak their minds. It's disgusting. This is what's wrong with the world. Everyone's too sensitive." The comment hung in the air like a bitter taste, and Alex could feel the stares from the other customers. He delivered Mr. Thompson's meal with a stiff smile, feeling the weight of judgment from the people around him. During a lull in the evening rush, Jamie approached Alex at the counter, concern etched on her face. "Are you okay? I saw how he was treating you." "I'll be fine," Alex replied, though his voice betrayed his unease. "It's just hard to deal with him. I didn't expect this kind of backlash." "Yeah, but don't let him get to you. You're doing the right thing," Jamie said, trying to encourage him. "We all have your back." As they spoke, a couple at a nearby table caught Alex's attention. He noticed them whispering, their eyes darting toward Mr. Thompson. The woman leaned over to her partner, her expression a mixture of disgust and disbelief. "What a jerk," she said, loud enough for Alex to hear. "I can't believe he's allowed to talk like that." Alex's heart swelled with a mix of gratitude and relief. He wasn't alone in this fight. The patrons around them could see the truth, and it gave him the strength to keep standing up. The shift dragged on, each interaction with Mr. Thompson feeling heavier than the last. He continued to make snide remarks, often directed at Alex, but he also began to sow discord among the other customers. Some appeared uncomfortable, while others seemed to enjoy the drama. Finally, as the night came to a close, Mia stepped out of her office, her expression determined. "All right, team, let's gather for a quick meeting." Alex, Jamie, and the rest of the staff came together, curiosity written on their faces. "I just had a conversation with Mr. Thompson," Mia began, her tone serious. "I made it clear that his behavior is unacceptable and that we will not tolerate any form of discrimination in this diner." He tried to downplay it, but I stood firm. Relief washed over the group, a collective sigh of gratitude escaping their lips. "Thank you, Mia," Alex said, feeling a rush of appreciation. "That means a lot to us." Mia smiled, her eyes scanning the room. "You're all doing an incredible job. Remember, we're a community here, and we need to look out for one another." As the staff dispersed to finish closing duties, Alex felt a flicker of hope ignite within him. They were stronger together, and with Mia's support, they could create a space where everyone felt safe and respected. Little did he know that the real test was yet to come. Mr. Thompson wasn't finished, and the battle for respect and dignity was far from over. The diner would soon become a battleground for values, and Alex was ready to fight for what was right. The sun rose on a new day, casting a soft glow over the diner as Alex arrived for his shift. The smell of fresh coffee wafted through the air, a familiar scent that usually brought him comfort. However, the heaviness of the previous days still lingered in his mind. The confrontation with Mr. Thompson and the growing tensions among the staff weighed heavily on his shoulders. As he stepped inside, he was greeted by Jamie, who was already setting up the tables. "Morning, Alex." "You ready for another day?" she asked, trying to keep her tone upbeat. "Not really, but I'll manage," he replied with a half-hearted smile. I just hope today is quieter than the last. Fingers crossed, Jamie said, rolling her eyes. At least we have Mia on our side. She's been a real rock through all of this. Alex nodded, feeling a swell of gratitude for their owner. Mia had not only supported him, but had also shown the entire team that they could stand up against discrimination. He hoped that today would bring some resolution to the turmoil that had settled over the diner. As the day progressed, customers trickled in and the atmosphere began to lighten. Laughter filled the air, and Alex lost himself in the rhythm of taking orders and serving food. Just when he thought things might return to normal, Mr. Thompson walked in, his presence immediately dampening the mood. He sauntered in with an air of entitlement, scanning the diner before locking eyes with Alex. A sleek grin crept across his face, and Alex felt a chill run down his spine. The diner's ambience shifted as customers shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Ah, the brave waiter returns. Mr. Thompson called out, his voice dripping with sarcasm. I was wondering if I'd see you again. Ready for round two? Alex clenched his jaw, refusing to let fear show on his face. What can I get for you, Mr. Thompson? He replied, trying to keep his tone neutral. Let's see if you can get my order right this time, he smirked. I'll have a cheeseburger, fries, and a coffee, make it strong. As Alex turned to prepare the order, he overheard Mr. Thompson speaking to the couple at the next table, clearly trying to stir up trouble. I can't believe they let a punk like that talk back to me. Just because he thinks he's some sort of hero doesn't mean he can disrespect a loyal customer. The couple exchanged uneasy glances, and Alex felt his stomach twist. It was frustrating to see Mr. Thompson using his privilege to undermine their efforts and create an uncomfortable environment. Once Alex delivered the order, he walked back to the kitchen, his heart racing. He couldn't ignore the mounting tension anymore. It was time to confront Mia about the situation. He gathered his courage, resolved to speak to her and ask for a team meeting to address the escalating hostility. As the lunch rush slowed, Alex found Mia in her office, reviewing paperwork. He knocked lightly on the door and stepped inside. Hey, Mia, do you have a moment? He asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Of course, Alex. What's on your mind? She replied, looking up with a warm smile. It's about Mr. Thompson, he began, hesitating. His comments have been getting worse, and I'm worried it's affecting the staff and customers. Mia nodded, her expression shifting to concern. I've noticed that too. I want everyone to feel safe and comfortable here. What do you think we should do? I think we need to have a meeting with the entire staff, Alex suggested. We should discuss how to handle situations like this and support each other better. We're all feeling the pressure, and I believe we can create a united front. Mia leaned back in her chair, considering his words. That's a good idea. I want to ensure everyone feels empowered to speak up and support one another. Let's gather everyone for a meeting after the shift today. Alex felt a rush of relief. Thank you, Mia. I really appreciate it. It's just hard knowing he's still out there, feeling untouchable. I understand. Just remember we're a team, and I'm here for you all, she said, giving him a reassuring smile. The remainder of the day passed in a blur of activity, but the thought of the upcoming meeting provided a sense of hope. Alex noticed the other staff members exchange glances, their expressions reflecting a mix of anxiety and determination. He could feel the weight of the situation pressing down on them, and he knew it was time for change. As the shift came to an end, the staff gathered in the break room, a sense of anticipation hanging in the air. Mia stood at the front, ready to facilitate the meeting. Thank you all for coming, she began, her voice calm but firm. I know things have been tense lately, especially with Mr. Thompson's comments and behavior. I want to create an open space for discussion. Your feelings matter, and I want to know how we can support each other better. Alex could see the relief on his co-workers' faces as they settled into their seats. Jamie sat beside him, her eyes reflecting solidarity. I think we all felt the need to address Mr. Thompson's actions, Marco said, breaking the silence. It's not just about one person. It's about creating a safe environment for everyone who walks through those doors. Sarah nodded in agreement. Exactly. I feel uncomfortable whenever he's here, and I know I'm not the only one. It's disheartening to see him treat people that way. Mia listened intently, encouraging the team to share their thoughts and experiences. The room began to fill with voices, each one recounting instances of discomfort and frustration. I've had customers complain about his behavior. Janie added, they don't like it either, but they don't know how to address it. We should let our customers know we stand against this kind of treatment. Alex felt a surge of pride as he listened to his coworkers speak up, their voices growing stronger with each shared experience. They were united in their commitment to create a respectful and inclusive environment. After a few more discussions, Mia steered the conversation towards solutions. What if we come up with a plan for how to handle difficult customers? If we stand together, we can be stronger than any one person's prejudiced remarks. That's a great idea, Alex said, feeling a newfound sense of hope. Maybe we could create a buddy system. If someone feels uncomfortable, they can signal to another staff member for support. The group nodded in agreement, brainstorming additional strategies for addressing difficult situations. As the discussion progressed, Alex felt the weight of the past few days beginning to lift. They were building a sense of community within the diner, one that embraced diversity and actively rejected racism. As the meeting wrapped up, Mia stood before them, her eyes filled with gratitude. I'm proud of all of you for coming together. This diner is more than just a place to work, it's a community. We must protect each other and stand against discrimination. After the meeting, Alex felt invigorated. The energy in the break room had shifted from anxiety to empowerment, and he was proud of the camaraderie they had built. As they returned to the dining area, the din of conversation and laughter greeted them, reminding them of the very essence of what Mia's diner represented. However, as Alex glanced around, he spotted Mr. Thompson at his usual booth, his eyes narrowed as he scanned the room. It was clear he had been watching the meeting unfold. The tension bubbled back to the surface, but Alex was ready. The team had each other's backs, and they would confront whatever came next together. The battle against Mr. Thompson's racism was far from over, but they had taken the first step toward fostering a culture of respect and inclusivity. The diner was a place for everyone, and they were prepared to defend it. With determination in their hearts, they would not back down. The following day at Mia's diner felt charged with anticipation. The staff buzzed with a mix of anxiety and determination as they prepared for what many knew would be a pivotal moment in their fight against the negativity that Mr. Thompson had brought into their space. Today, Mia had called for a meeting with Mr. Thompson to address his behavior directly. Alex's heart raced at the thought. He knew it was a risky move but felt it was necessary. As the lunch crowd began to trickle in, Alex's thoughts remained focused on the upcoming confrontation. He felt an odd mix of fear and empowerment. While he worried about how Mr. Thompson would react, he also felt a growing sense of solidarity among the staff. They were all in this together, ready to support one another. The moment the door swung open, Alex felt a shift in the atmosphere. Mr. Thompson walked in, his presence as commanding as ever. He sauntered to the front of the diner, scanning the room with a look of disdain. When his eyes landed on Alex, a smirk crossed his face, a clear indication that he relished the power he believed he wielded over the staff. Ah, if it isn't my favorite waiter, Mr. Thompson called out, his voice oozing with sarcasm. How's it feel to be the poster boy for sensitivity? Good morning, Mr. Thompson, Alex replied, forcing a polite smile. What can I get for you today? I'll have the usual, and let's make sure it's not served with a side of I'm too sensitive for this world. He snapped, clearly enjoying the attention. Alex turned to walk away, feeling a knot tighten in his stomach. He had hoped to avoid a direct confrontation, but it was clear that Mr. Thompson was ready to provoke him. As he delivered the order to the kitchen, he could feel the weight of his colleagues' eyes on him, a silent exchange of support and understanding. As lunchtime began, the diner filled up with customers, and the energy shifted slightly. The staff worked efficiently, and despite Mr. Thompson's presence, they kept their heads high. Mia appeared more focused than ever, making her rounds and checking in on her employees. When the time came for the meeting, the atmosphere in the diner grew thick with tension. Mia had asked everyone to gather in the break room. Alex joined his coworkers, their expressions a mix of anticipation and worry. All right, everyone, thank you for being here. Mia began, her voice steady. As you all know, we have Mr. Thompson in the diner today, and I think it's time we address his behavior openly. I want us to feel safe and supported while we work. A murmur of agreement rippled through the group. Mia glanced toward the door, signaling for Mr. Thompson to join them. The room fell silent, and a wave of apprehension washed over everyone. Mr. Thompson walked in with an air of superiority, his eyes scanning the room as if he were inspecting an exhibit. He took a seat, a smug grin plastered on his face. "Let's get this over with," he said dismissively, folding his arms. "I don't know all day." Mia took a deep breath, her composure unwavering. "Mr. Thompson, thank you for joining us. I wanted to have this conversation to address some concerns that have been raised regarding your comments and behavior in the diner." "Oh, I see. This is about that little incident with the waiter," Mr. Thompson retorted, waving a hand dismissively. "I thought we were all adults here. It's not my fault he can't handle the truth." Alex felt a surge of anger at his words, but he reminded himself to stay calm. "Sir, it's not about handling the truth. It's about respect. Everyone in this diner deserves to be treated with dignity, regardless of their background." Mr. Thompson leaned back, a mocking expression on his face. "Oh, is that what we're doing now? Playing the sensitivity card? This world is too politically correct. You can't say anything without offending someone." "That's not true," Mia interjected firmly. "The issue is not about political correctness. It's about fostering an environment where all customers feel safe and welcomed. Your comments have made people uncomfortable, and that's unacceptable." Mr. Thompson scoffed, glancing around the room as if searching for support. "You're all just a bunch of sheep. It's ridiculous how everyone is so quick to take offense these days. You're ruining the diner's atmosphere." "We're trying to protect it," Marco spoke up, finding his voice. "This diner should be a safe haven for everyone, and that includes standing up against discriminatory behavior. We won't let your negativity undermine that." Mr. Thompson's expression shifted, irritation flashing in his eyes. "And what do you plan to do about it? You think you can just band together and make me go away? This is America. I have the right to speak my mind." "Of course you do," May replied, her voice steady. "But with rights come responsibilities. You can voice your opinions without resorting to insults or belittling others. It's about finding a way to express yourself while respecting those around you." Mr. Thompson's face reddened, and Alex could see the anger boiling just beneath the surface. He seemed to realize he was outnumbered. "This is ridiculous," he spat. "You're all going to regret this." "Regret what?" Jamie asked, her voice firm. "Standing up for what's right. We're not going to allow anyone to treat us or our customers with disrespect. We're here to support each other." Mr. Thompson opened his mouth to retort, but Mia cut him off. "If you continue to act this way, you will no longer be welcome in this diner. We value our staff and customers too much to allow anyone to create a hostile environment." Silence filled the room as Mr. Thompson stared at Mia, fury flashing in his eyes. It was clear he wasn't used to being challenged. After a long pause, he leaned forward, his voice low and threatening. "You'll regret this, Mia. I'm a loyal customer, and I can bring in plenty of business. You think you can just throw that away?" Mia stood her ground, her gaze unwavering. "Loyalty doesn't mean putting others down. If you can't respect everyone who walks through those doors, then perhaps it's time to reevaluate where you choose to spend your money." With that, the tension in the room shifted dramatically. Alex felt a wave of relief wash over him as Mia's words hung in the air. The staff exchanged glances, their expressions a mixture of surprise and gratitude. They had rallied together to confront Mr. Thompson, and Mia had set a powerful example of leadership. "You're making a big mistake," Mr. Thompson hissed, his voice seething with rage. "You'll regret this." "Perhaps you should reconsider your approach," Mia replied, her tone firm but calm. "I hope you'll take this opportunity to reflect on your actions." Without another word, Mr. Thompson rose from his seat, his expression twisted in anger. He turned sharply, storming out of the break room and slamming the door behind him. The sound echoed in the silence that followed, leaving the staff breathless. As the door closed, The room erupted in a flurry of emotion. Wow, Jamie said, shaking her head in disbelief. I can't believe we just did that. Neither can I, Marco added, a grin spreading across his face. That was amazing, Mia. Thank you for standing up for us. Mia smiled, her eyes gleaming with pride. It's not just about me. It's about all of you. You showed incredible courage today. Remember, this diner is a community, and we have to support each other. Alex felt a sense of unity settle over the group. They had taken a stand together, and in that moment, he knew they were stronger as a team. It was more than just a diner. It was a place where they could create positive change. As the staff returned to their duties, the atmosphere in the diner felt lighter. The customers, unaware of the storm that had just passed, continued to enjoy their meals, laughter and conversation filling the air. However, Alex knew that the battle wasn't over. Mr. Thompson might have stormed out, but he was still a looming threat. The reality of standing up against discrimination weighed heavily on their shoulders, but they had taken a bold step forward. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, determined to create a safe and welcoming environment for everyone who walked through the doors of Mia's diner. The days following the confrontation with Mr. Thompson were a whirlwind of emotion. News of the incident spread throughout the diner and beyond, reaching regular customers and even some community members who had previously only visited occasionally. Mia's firm stance against discrimination resonated with many, and support for the diner surged. Customers who had remained silent began to voice their appreciation for the environment Mia and her staff were cultivating, a space that valued respect and inclusivity. As the sun rose on another day, Alex entered the diner feeling a renewed sense of hope. The usual morning chatter greeted him as he stepped through the doors, but this time, the energy felt different. Customers were sharing smiles and laughter, and the staff moved through their duties with a newfound confidence. Mia was already at the counter, chatting with a group of customers. She looked up as Alex approached, her smile bright. "Good morning, Alex. Ready for another great day?" "Absolutely," he replied, his spirits lifting. "It feels like there's a whole new vibe in here." "Exactly," Mia said, her enthusiasm infectious. "People are rallying around us, and it's wonderful to see our community supporting one another." As the morning rush began, Alex felt the familiar rhythm of the diner wash over him. He took orders, served food, and engaged with customers. The warmth of the interactions fueled his resolve to make the diner a safe space for everyone. Each smile and friendly conversation reinforced the changes they had all fought for. During a lull in the busy breakfast rush, Jamie approached Alex at the counter. "Hey, I wanted to thank you again for your courage during the meeting. It really inspired everyone to speak up." "Thanks, Jamie," Alex replied, feeling a rush of warmth. "I couldn't have done it without all of you backing me up. It's been amazing to see everyone come together like this." "Totally," she said, glancing around the diner. "It feels like we're finally on the right track." Just then, a group of new customers walked in, and Alex's heart soared when he recognized them from the local community center. They were a mix of different backgrounds, all chatting and smiling as they entered the diner. Alex greeted them enthusiastically. "Welcome to Mia's Diner. What can I get started for you?" "Just a couple of coffees to start, please," one of the women said. "We've heard great things about this place." As he prepared their drinks, Alex felt a sense of pride swell within him. This was what he had always wanted for the diner, a place where everyone felt welcome and valued. As the day progressed, the diner buzzed with energy. Conversations flowed freely, laughter echoed off the walls, and Alex felt more connected to the community than ever before. He overheard patrons discussing their support for the diner's new policies on respect and inclusivity, sharing stories of their own experiences with discrimination and how important it was for spaces like Mia's Diner to stand against it. By the end of the day, Mia gathered the staff for a brief meeting to reflect on the week's progress. "I just want to take a moment to acknowledge how far we've come," she began, her voice warm and encouraging. "The support we've received from the community has been overwhelming, and it's a testament to the hard work and courage each of you has shown." As Mia spoke, Alex looked around at his coworkers, each of them beaming with pride. They had transformed from a group of individuals into a cohesive team, bonded by their shared values and experiences. I'm so proud of you all, Mia continued. We've not only stood up for what's right, but we've also created a welcoming environment that reflects our commitment to respect and equality. Let's continue to build on this foundation. With the meeting concluding on a high note, the staff members exchanged smiles and words of encouragement. Alex felt a sense of belonging that had deepened over the last few weeks. They were more than just coworkers, they were allies in a shared mission to foster an inclusive community. The diner began to close for the night, and as the last customers trickled out, Alex took a moment to soak it all in. He watched as Mia helped Jamie clean up, their camaraderie evident. It was inspiring to see how they had all rallied together to create something beautiful out of adversity. As Alex wiped down a table, he noticed a framed sign on the wall that had been recently added. Everyone is welcome here. Together, we stand against hate. He smiled, feeling a surge of pride. This was more than just a slogan. It was a promise they had all made to one another and their community. In the following weeks, the diner thrived as more people came to enjoy the food and atmosphere. The message of respect and inclusivity spread, and many new customers found a home within the walls of Mia's Diner. The staff continued to build relationships with their patrons, fostering connections that transformed the diner into a true community hub. However, as the diner's popularity grew, so did the challenges. Some customers were less than pleased with the diner's stance on discrimination. Complaints trickled in, particularly from those who felt that the new policies were too extreme or unnecessary. One evening, a disgruntled customer confronted Alex, his voice laced with anger. "What's with all this nonsense? You're just a diner. This isn't a social justice platform," he shouted, causing other patrons to turn and look. Alex felt his heart race, but he remembered the support of his colleagues and the principles they stood for. "We believe in treating everyone with respect," he replied, his voice calm yet firm. "This diner is a place for all people, and we won't tolerate hate." The man scoffed, shaking his head in disbelief. "You'll regret this. I won't be coming back." As he stormed out, Alex felt a mix of frustration and relief. While it was disheartening to lose a customer, he knew they were on the right path. The diner had become a space where people could stand up against prejudice and hate, and he was proud to be part of it. Days turned into weeks, and the diner's reputation continued to grow. They hosted community events such as open mic nights and cultural festivals, inviting local artists and performers to showcase their talents. Each event attracted diverse crowds, reinforcing the sense of unity and belonging that had become synonymous with Mia's dinner. One evening, as Alex cleaned up after a particularly successful event, Mia approached him with a thoughtful expression. "You know, Alex, I've been meaning to talk to you. The community has been incredibly supportive, and I think it's time we take things a step further." "What do you mean?" Alex asked, curious. "I want to establish a regular community forum here at the diner," she explained. "A place where people can come together to discuss important issues, share their stories, and support one another. You've shown so much courage, and I think you'd be perfect to help lead these discussions." Alex felt a thrill of excitement at the thought. "That sounds amazing, Mia. I'd love to help with that." As they discussed the details, Alex realized just how far they had come. From the initial confrontation with Mr. Thompson to this moment, they had built something meaningful, a community dedicated to acceptance, understanding, and change. The next community forum was scheduled for the following month, and Alex couldn't wait to see how it would unfold. He knew it would be a space for open dialogue and connection, a chance to bring even more people together in solidarity. As the diner closed for the night, Alex stepped outside, taking a deep breath of the cool evening air. He glanced back at the sign on the window. "Everyone is welcome here." It was a promise fulfilled, a testament to the resilience of the diner's staff and the community they had cultivated together. In that moment, Alex felt a deep sense of fulfillment. They had faced adversity and emerged stronger, transforming Mia's Diner into a place of hope and connection. As he walked home, the streets were alive with the sounds of laughter and conversation. The city felt vibrant, filled with possibility. Alex knew that while challenges would still arise, they had created a foundation that could withstand the storm. They would continue to stand together, championing the values they believed in and building a brighter future for all. In the heart of the community, Mia's Diner had become a beacon of hope, an enduring symbol of the power of unity in the face of adversity. And as they all moved forward, Alex was ready to embrace whatever came next, knowing that they would face it together as a family. The story of Mia's Diner would continue, woven into the fabric of their community, a place where everyone was truly welcome and kindness would always prevail. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you want to see more stories like this, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us create even more amazing content for you. Comment below with your thoughts or any ideas for future videos. We'd love to hear from you.